What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? You're watching the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I am Harrison Graham, and coming up on today's show, more discussion around DeAndre Hopkins and Odell Beckham Jr. as a report from Albert Breer suggests that the Chiefs are interested in both OBJ and Hopkins. Let's get to the quote from Albert Breer. He says, the Chiefs have shown interest in both Hopkins and Beckham. They'll add a receiver somewhere down the line to join Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Kadarius Toney, and Sky Moore. Right now, Kansas City has around $10 million in cap space, so realistically, the idea of taking on Hopkins' contract as is or meeting the initial demands that Beckham had for his suitors would be non-starters. The good news is both have shown a willingness to work with teams on the money. I think what I'm learning here is that Brett Veach would like to upgrade from Juju Smith-Schuster. Now, I've said when it comes to Odell Beckham Jr., is it a clear upgrade to go from Juju to OBJ? If OBJ's fully healthy and plays like the way he was with the Rams, I think you could say yes, but that's obviously a big risk because when you look at what Juju did last year, yeah, he wasn't unbelievable, but he had 78 catches for over 900 yards and 3 touchdowns. You'd like the TDs to be higher, but considering he only got 3 years and $25 million, I think I would have paid that price tag for the production you got a year ago. If you got something similar for the next 3 seasons, I think that would be more worth than while. So we will continue to discuss here, but we're kind of in a competition with our other AFC West channel, and that is the Las Vegas Raiders Report. They got 736 new subscribers last week. We only got 447. I shouldn't say only. That's a lot, but Mitchell Renz was talking some smack this morning, host of the Raiders Report, and I think you guys are up to the challenge. Can we catch up in subscribers? If you want more content here on the Chiefs Report, hit that subscribe button. Let's beat the Raiders to 1,000 new subs. They got to jump on us right now, but I think we can do it. Go ahead and subscribe today. It's 100% free. Okay, let's continue to talk about these two. You compare their career stats. I'll be honest, it's kind of crazy that they're both 30 years old. Hopkins will turn 31 before the season, but Hopkins has clearly been the guy who's been more consistent and has been able to stay more healthy throughout his career. He's got over 300 more catches than OBJ. He's at over 11,000 yards, 71 touchdowns, compared to OBJ, who has 7,700 yards, 56 touchdowns, and, he's had slightly bigger plays in his career, of course, but I think when you look at these two guys, I think OBJ's absolute peaks have been better, but Hopkins has been really consistent throughout his career. There's just no doubt about that. More from Albert Breer when it comes to Hopkins specifically and what his trade value could look like. He says the ask had been a second-round pick and another asset. Based on indications I've gotten, that sort of return simply isn't coming. I do think he'll bring back more than Brandon Cooks did for the Texans, as Houston got a 2023 fifth and a 2024 sixth from the Cowboys, but it'll probably be closer to that than what Arizona is looking for. So if Breer is saying it's going to be closer to the Cooks trade value than a second round in another asset, aren't you doing that if you're Brett Veach? I get you're going to have to move some money around. You got to free up a little bit more cap space. You have to redo Hopkins' deal a little bit. I would prefer DeAndre Hopkins, especially if it only ends up being like a fourth and a fifth or something like that. I think that is certainly worthwhile. I don't think you'll have to give up a second. At worst, you're going to have to give up a third based on what recent reports suggest. Other reports coming in that the Bills have made a push for Hopkins. So I'm not saying you go trade for him just because the Bills want him, but you would certainly not like to see Hopkins land in Buffalo because obviously the Bills are going to be a team that's competing with Kansas City for years to come. Now, regardless of who Kansas City lands in NFL free agency, you got to upgrade here. You need that true number one. Kadarius Toney, MVS, Sky Moore, I think that would be a great 2 through 4, but you need that number one guy, or at least you'd like to have him, right? Obviously, you have Travis Kelce, too, so it's not like you're desperate for a receiver, but if you don't get one of these guys, you're probably going to have to take someone early in the draft, so, you never know what that brings, but a guy like Hopkins, OBJ on a, short-term resolution here, I think would bolster this unit tremendously, and especially Hopkins. He's an upgrade from Juju Smith-Schuster. So pick a receiver. Who would you rather have? This will be the pinned comment on today's video. Type DH for DeAndre Hopkins or type OBJ for Odell Beckham Jr. If you get hit with that YouTube ad break, reply with DH or OBJ. Let's go to another receiver here. Bleacher Report has linked DJ Chark to the Kansas City Chiefs as a potential free agent fit, as Chark remains unsigned right now. You look at his past 4 seasons, and The common theme here for me is injuries. He last year missed 6 games. The year before only played in 4 games. The year before that missed 4 games. So, I mean, he's missed time in each of the last 3 years pretty extensively, especially the past 2. Alex Key of Bleacher Report did add an interesting note here saying he's still only 26 years old. There's a chance Chark regains that early career form on his next contract back in 2019 at 1,000 yards. If he can get back to full strength, he'll be a great bargain pickup for a team during the second wave of free agency. And like I said, injuries have been a problem. There's no doubt about it. But Key is right. Early on in his career in Jacksonville, I mean, he looked like a guy that could have a chance to be a number 1. Now, I don't think that's going to be the case anymore, but he's got good size. He can stretch the field. When he's healthy, he's been pretty productive. Even last year, he finished the year strong with Detroit. It's just the health. Can he give you 14, 15-plus games? Recent history suggests no, but, you may not need that either. Like, you could sign him to be a 3 or 4, and he kind of just gives you what he gives you, and you go from there. Now, would you take a chance on DJ Chark with his injury history? Type S for sign him or P for pass. He would certainly be a fallback option for me. I mean, I'm obviously going to focus on Hopkins and OBJ. Obviously, OBJ has injuries too, but higher ceiling there. But he could be someone you circle back to. So let me know what you guys think, S for sign or P for pass. One more player, Bleacher Report linked to Kansas City, and I don't really get this one, to be honest. That is Taylor Rapp, a player I do really like at the safety position. I loved him coming out of University of Washington, and I don't know if he's quite met my expectations, but he's been pretty solid with the Rams. Last 2 years, he's got 6 interceptions with Los Angeles. He's been healthy the past couple of years, had some injuries in 2020, but I think he's a starting safety for most teams. The problem is the Chiefs aren't one of those, so I don't really get this fit suggestion from Kansas City because you already have your top 3 safeties. You already signed Mike Edwards to be your 3rd safety. You have Justin Reid, who's on that big contract that he signed last year. Bryan Cook, who you drafted in the 2nd round a year ago. And then you also signed Mike Edwards to be your 3rd safety. So it's kind of like, okay, Taylor Rapp, yeah, you could say he's better than Mike Edwards, which he obviously is. You could say he's better than Bryan Cook. But are you going to sign Taylor Rapp and then move on from one of these guys? I guess you could trade or cut Justin Reid. There's some money that could be saved there, but he's got 2 years left on his deal. Some dead money would still be left over, so I'm not sure the Chiefs want to do that. I quite frankly think they're pretty set at safety. Maybe you bring back Deion Bush as your 4th guy as a special teams guy, but I don't think it makes sense for Taylor Rapp. I don't think it makes sense for the Chiefs. He can start places, so I don't think he's really an option for Kansas City, but did want to discuss because Bleacher Report did mention it. All right, who's next? Fill in the blank. The Chiefs will sign next in NFL free agency. Blank next in free agency, I should say. Will it be Odell Beckham? Will they trade for DeAndre Hopkins? Let me know who becomes the Kansas City Chief next. And whenever that happens, we will have it covered here on the Chiefs Report. So hit that subscribe button. Turn on your notifications. Never miss a video here on the channel. My name is Harrison Graham. We will see you next time here on the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports.